What up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Kenny right here, coming at y'all solo dolo, bringing you the long and awaited, well, at least for me, 26th episode of the Fandom Frequency Show. That's right, we're coming at y'all once again with another somewhat long form show covering various topics in the pop culture landscape. You know what I mean? And just a quick channel update as well. A little bit of content got pushed back. Had to update the computer and whatnot. Had some errands and shit I had to run. You know what I mean? So we are going to get that Scream ranking to you guys this week, ranking all 6 of the films. Super Mario Brothers, that review is going to get delayed just a little bit, probably till next weekend. So be on the lookout for that about a week from now. And yeah. But other than that, most of our other stuff should be coming out as we regularly planned it, starting with this. Our Mandalorian episode 7 recap / review will be dropping on Wednesday as usual. So all the normal content we've been doing frequently lately will be coming at y'all in full effect. And we got some more niche movies and some other more out of the box concepts and ideas and pieces of content we're going to be working on. So we got plenty of stuff coming at y'all for the remainder of April. We're just getting started, you know what I mean? So make sure you're clicking all the buttons below the video and everything like that. Really does help the channel grow immensely, and we can't do that without y'all, and the channel has been growing every single day, it seems like. So much love to each and every one of you that's hitting the like button, is leaving the comments, letting us know what you think about the video, letting us know what you think about the movie or the TV show or the topic at hand. And thank you for being just honest and respectful and just so fun to talk to. We appreciate each and every one of you supporters. Enough of the housekeeping. Let's get right into this bad boy. And yeah, so just catching up, been doing the 9 to 5 and all that other shit. But on the fun side of things, been working on actually getting into drumming and things like that, picking up some of the, some of percussion skills, if you will. So been kind of getting into that, learning some of the basics with that, trying to practice my keys and everything like that as well, trying to actually learn some of the basics of both of those instruments throughout this year. So that's kind of a personal goal for myself anyway. And, been trying to, stay consistent, working on some beats, been working on some written stuff, getting back on the mic, been working behind the scenes on some collab stuff, some solo stuff. So just been definitely delving more into the music realm as of late, working on my own stuff and just working on, becoming a full-fledged musician, if you will. So just expanding all the things on my audio engineering and production side of things, the thing I do outside of this show and all that. And that's how I discovered all this audio goodness, was getting into music and all that stuff. So kind of going full circle and keeping the show here implemented in with all that good jazz. So it's really been fun getting into all that and, just delving all into that. Getting adjusted to work and all that stuff. And me and the boys, we've been kicking it here and there. Me and Miguel, we did actually watch WrestleMania Day 2 over there in Alhambra at a really sick spot where it's all like pro wrestling and heavy metal themed, called Grill 'Em All. Really awesome spot. We went and watched Day 2 over there. And just a little bit of WrestleMania recap, actually, before we get into kind of the main segments of the show. Just wanted to give you all my quick WrestleMania thoughts. WrestleMania 39, first time WrestleMania has gone Hollywood ever since 2005's WrestleMania 21, which was the second WrestleMania I ever watched live on pay-per-view with my parents and all that as a 10 going on 11-year-old kid. So it's crazy how, shit, man, like 18 years later, coming full circle or whatever, getting back in. Yeah, 18 years later, WrestleMania back in LA. And I was looking into getting tickets for that later, like late last year, but the shit was just a little too crazy for me, and I didn't want to be way the fuck back there. So didn't end up working out, but definitely watched Day 1 when I got home from work and whatnot, watched the replay. Thankfully, I have Peacock and all that, so I got to watch the recap of that. And Day 1, in my mind, was head and shoulders above Day 2, that is for sure. Day 2 still had some really good matches in there. There was still a couple bangers that went down, you know what I mean? Some awesome and fun moments as well. So Day 2 was not bad whatsoever, really. I just thought it did not live up to the hype of Day 1, man. Night 1 was just so fucking good, man. The main event with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the the undisputed tag team championships against the Usos. And I'm not obviously not super well versed in all these guys' matches. I haven't been watching them for years or anything like that, but I have been catching up on some of their history. Have watched some of their matches in the past and whatnot. More so Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, more so than the Usos, but I'm aware of them, the bloodline, the actual bloodline with them being related to The Rock, everything like that. I'm fully aware of. Just hadn't watched a lot of their matches in the past, but this was a fucking banger, man. I caught like the last 20 minutes. And then I went, or like not last 20 minutes, like the last like 10 minutes or so. And then obviously went back and watched the whole day, night one from the beginning. So I did catch the early part of their match, and it was just a fucking banger. One of the best WrestleMania main events I've seen in years, personally, out of the stuff I've caught up on or watched live. So definitely up there in WrestleMania matches for sure, man. But the whole night was just full of bangers, dude. Like even the Austin Theory versus John Cena match was actually pretty damn good. Went a little bit more unexpected than I thought. You know what I mean? Awesome intros from John Cena and whatnot with the Make-A-Wish Foundation kids and everything. Super heartwarming. The stuff you expect the eternal face that is John Cena in the WWE to do. So that was a lot of fun as well. And the illest match of the night, in my personal opinion, was definitely Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. God damn, that match is a fucking banger. That is what pro wrestling fans come to the shows to see. That is what it's all about right there. Hard hitting storytelling. Every hit is telling another piece of the story, and it's all culminating in getting the new kid over. Rhea got the belt, man. We were all expecting that. All of us Rhea Ripley fans out here. I was definitely predicting that. I was definitely hoping for that. I was hoping that they would take, Charlotte Flair's heat and all the success and all the prestige that she has built over the years in the last 10 years or so, building up her legacy in the Women's Revolution era of WWE and all that stuff. And really getting to see her put Rhea over and drop the belt to her was just so fucking awesome. Such a banger of a match, and my hat's off to Charlotte Flair, man. She is definitely one of the best wrestlers of this generation. I definitely would give her credit. I do think they might have given her the belt a few too many times and just the amount of time she's been in the game. But overall, I still really do respect the hell out of her, and I really do support what she does in the ring and the legacy she's building on for the next generation of the Flair legacy. Our boy Ric Flair is out there going, woo, proud as hell of her, I'm sure. So it was a banger match, man. And another match I definitely want to highlight was Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus teaming up in a triple in a trios match, if you will, against Damage Control, which is Bayley, damn, I forgot the other, Dakota Sky and Io Sky. There you go. Damage Control, kind of one of the main female factions in the WWE right now. They've had a heated debate. Obviously, Bayley and Becky Lynch, for those that are uninitiated, and for those that actually will know, they had a long history of friendship and rivalry that's been going back and forth. Two of the biggest stars in this current generation of WWE, two of the biggest pieces of the puzzle in the Women's Revolution. So really cool to get to see them go head-to-head and come in with, it was like a past, present, and future match as billed by Trish Stratus herself, I believe, said that it's literally all the contestants involved were literally like the hottest stars of the tomorrow, the hottest stars right now that have been building up for time, and then between Trish Stratus and Lita being solidified Hall of Famers, they're the past. So it was like this great blend of some of the best of the last 2 to 3 generations of the WWE. Is actually really cool. It was actually a really good match. I'm a huge fan of Trish Stratus and Lita, of course, respectively. Lita being my favorite female wrestler of all time. Trish Stratus being my number 2. Chyna my number 3. So always had a lot of love for those two ladies, and it was so awesome to see them working together. They've had a long history of rivalry and going back and forth in some of the biggest banger matches in pay-per-view and women's wrestling in total. So really awesome to see them back in action. Weren't missing a step. Lita's still going high-flying, still putting it all out there. She's always got the sick-ass high-top Vans on, rocking. So got a lot of love for Lita as well. She's awesome. Really was cool getting to see those 6 ladies in the ring. And I got a lot of love for the man, Becky Lynch, of course, and Bayley. They're really awesome and some of the best to do it right now. And they definitely held their own in the match. And it's really cool getting to see Becky team up with Lita being the tag team champs for the women's division. And I'm sure it's a dream come true for her. I'm sure she's just over the moon about it. So really cool to get to see all that stuff really going down. I absolutely loved night 1 of WrestleMania. And night 2 still had some really good matches in there, like the main event, of course, with Roman Reigns and Cody Cody Rhodes. Definitely went in an unexpected direction that I didn't anticipate. But in retrospect, I do kind of see what they're doing, kind of letting Cody build up to that a little bit more. And I think they're going to let Roman Reigns actually beat the streak of Hulk Hogan's record of like 1,000 days or something like that. So I think they are going to let him beat that record and give him the longest reigning title reign in the WWE history. So that's a pretty crazy accolade to go down right there. And there was one other match I really, really enjoyed. Bianca Belair versus Asuka was okay. Not the greatest, but certainly far from bad. There's not a lot of heat on that. Not a big storyline going into it. So just a little bit, fell flat a little bit overall. But they're two great performers in their own right, of course. Well deserved and everything to be in the big dance. The Snoop and Miz moments were so fucking hilarious to me. That was just a lot of fun getting to see Snoop back at WrestleMania 18 years later, as we did at WrestleMania 21 when he came out and did the entrance with Rey Mysterio. That was so freaking awesome. And I think the opening match of WrestleMania 1 or the second match, I can't remember on night 1, between Rey and Dominic Mysterio. That was a really good match too. Great storyline that's been building up between Judgment Day, Edge, and Rey Mysterio for the past like almost year, maybe a year. So it's pretty crazy to see how long that storytelling has been going on, and the way Triple H was kind of able to weave that story together. It came together great. So yeah, WrestleMania was a pretty fun ride, man. It was a pretty fun ride. One of the best ones I've watched in years, and I definitely am going to be checking out WrestleMania 40 as long as they can keep up some of these good matches for next year. Let's hope so. But it was a damn good time. For those of you that didn't get to catch it, go back there on freaking Peacock, subscribe, and fucking watch that shit on replay, man. It was a damn good WrestleMania, y'all. Damn good WrestleMania. Yeah, so with no further ado, y'all, let's get into the main segment of the show here. We got two big news topics, if you will, but we got one that's kind of filled to the brim of like mini news topics in the overall tapestry that is Star Wars, because Star Wars Celebration just went down over the past weekend and literally is ending today as of the recording of this video. 4-day event, you know what I mean? So going over Easter weekend over there in London, England, and a lot of big announcements went down there. So we're going to get into all that geeky galaxy far, far away goodness in just a minute. But I wanted to get into this shorter topic, real short and sweet, really. But it was an interesting one that I did see pop up today as of me prepping for this episode. So here it is. Stranger Things is expanding the world once again. We're not getting a 6th season with the gang, with our Hellfire Club, if you will. We're getting a spinoff, not the live action spinoff that the Duffer Brothers have been teasing over the last several months to a year, when we were all getting hyped over the moon for seasons 4, volumes 1 and 2. You know what I mean? So while they were promoting that, they were promoting that live action spinoff they've been working on. But this is a brand new thing that they just revealed to us today, that they're actually developing an animated series. We don't know when it takes place in the timeline. We don't know exactly when the show's going to drop. The only thing that we do know is just who's creatively involved with developing the project, who pitched it to them. And we know that Sean Levy and the Duffer Brothers are also going to be producing and nurturing this thing along. But it actually comes from creator Eric Robles, who I'm not necessarily familiar with, but he is the person that did cook up this idea, pitched it to the Duffer Brothers, and apparently they loved it, pitched it to Netflix, and apparently it's all full speed ahead on this thing. Not exactly sure, as I mentioned earlier, all the plot details are under wraps, so I have no idea what this series is actually going to inevitably be about, but I'm always excited to see what they're going to do with the Stranger Things world post season 5, because as the biggest juggernaut that Netflix has ever created, in conjunction with the Duffer Brothers, they're not going to let that go. You know what I mean? And the same thing like we're kind of hearing with Lionsgate over there with the John Wick franchise, even though it does seem like, spoiler alert, our boy, the Baba Yaga, does seem to have passed away. Maybe his death was faked, who knows? But it does seem like they're putting him to rest. But they got Ballerina coming out next year with Anna de Armas. They're expanding the Continental into a TV series as well. So it seems like they definitely have a lot of spinoffs and potential sequels in the works for John Wick, which is kind of another little mini announcement in and of itself right here. But the main thing is Stranger Things and them expanding the world in the same way in live action and animation format, a la the same way the Amazon Prime has been doing with The Boys as well. For those of y'all that have been keeping up with that, let me know if that Diabolical is worth a look-see. I definitely do plan on watching Gen V. That's the live-action spinoff for The Boys. But as I digress and getting back into Stranger Things, for those of you that don't know that might be joining us for the first time, I am a huge fucking Stranger Things fan. I love Stranger Things to death. It is one of, if not my favorite TV series of all time. It is literally the TV series that got me into more long form stories and things of that nature into the Breaking Bads and the Ozarks and all these other great TV series that have came out over the years. Stranger Things was kind of the one that kind of opened up that interest for me to watch these streaming shows and some of these old HBO shows and all that other stuff. So for me, Stranger Things is a very big pivotal series for my fandom and for my whole TV watching experience and everything like that. And I discovered it from a random ad on YouTube in the summer of 2016 when it just came out of nowhere. People were comparing it to Stephen King meets Steven Spielberg Amblin. I was like, all right, sign me up. That sounds pretty dope. Didn't know any of the actors. I had seen David Harbour before. Actually, sorry, I take that back. I did know the great Winona Ryder, but I didn't know David Harbour yet. Hadn't known any other person in the cast, so it was all fresh and new to me, and it just blew me away from the first episode and everything like that. And I just instantly fell in love with the characters, the world, in the series, and I love what the Duffer Brothers have created over the last 4 seasons. So here's fingers crossed that they have a really dope idea that expands the world, doesn't rely on everything we've already seen, and does something really cool to add some new layers to the Stranger Things world, because I'm open to spinoffs as long as it kind of justifies itself with having a great story to tell that doesn't negate or conflict with anything we've had before. It's a tightrope to walk. It's a very thin line, a very fine line they have to try to ride and not cross, but I think the Duffer Brothers can do it. And I was kind of hoping they would expand into other things outside of this brand, but it does seem like they're all in on it, and they're going to be involved in some capacity. Not maybe as much as they were for the mainline series, but I think for these other things, you definitely can expect their stamp to be on it. So I'm looking forward to it. Y'all let me know if you're even interested in animated series, let alone, or a spinoff of Stranger Things, let alone an animated series of all things. Let me know. For all my big animation fans, does this really just straight right up your alley, or do you think this is a little bit of a cash grab and Netflix needs to learn when enough is enough and need to like move on and try to grow new things? You let me know what you think about that, but I'm definitely more open to the idea than not, but I do think there is a little bit of that reliance on Stranger Things being that name recognition, but that's kind of the state of things where we are today in entertainment between movies and TV, so it is what it is. But moving on to the main enchilada of the show, the main reason why we're here today to discuss Star Wars Celebration 2023 just went down in London, England. We had a lot of big announcements, y'all, and I'm going to get into the ones that we're probably the most skeptical about right now, and that is all the movie announcements for Star Wars Celebration that came out for the foreseeable future. We have 3 films, potentially 4 or 5 in the wings, but we have 3 confirmed films, confirmed in air quotes there, that are set to be coming out. The first one in the pipeline, the first one that actually has an official date, which I believe is December 19th, 2025. Correct me, I will have to do some research to make sure, but I believe it's December 19th, 2025. If I'm wrong, it should be on the screen what the right date is, but December 19th, 2025. Anyway, that film is going to be called The New Jedi Order. And I'm sure most of you Star Wars fans are aware of this already. I'm a little late to the party, but it is going to center on the New Jedi Order, led by none other than Rey Skywalker. Daisy Ridley is coming back to the Star Wars universe, y'all, to pick up the role of Rey once again, pick up the yellow lightsaber as the new lead of the New Jedi Order, set 15 years after Episode 9, the rise of Skywalker and everything like that, and we're going to be in a brand new time period we haven't explored yet, post-Skywalker saga. I definitely am very interested in this idea, mainly due to the fact that I am a fan of Daisy Ridley's character of Rey. I always liked the character throughout the entire trilogy, even when some of the decisions they made I didn't necessarily vibe with, like her being related to Palpatine and things like that. I still love the character. I still enjoyed the journey they took her on and thought that for the most part, especially the first 2 portions of it, were very well written, very well executed, and very interesting to me. And I thought Daisy really just did such an amazing job of bringing that character to life and of making Rey feel like a fully lived in, like a real person that you could connect to and relate to, and someone that I think a lot of people out there, women, men, and anything in between, can all relate to and really just have that connection for her. And just that powerhouse even audition that came out after the fact on the internet online, where you could see the passion and the talent that she has. It's just so awesome, man. So I've always been a big fan of Rey as a character, even though the Skywalker thing's a little corny, even though her tacking that last name on there. I know some people feel like, oh, how dare they and all this shit. I'm not necessarily that upset about it. I don't think it was necessarily, or it was a necessary thing to add to her character per se, but I don't mind it. I do like how she does use Leia's old lightsaber, I believe, to create her new yellow lightsaber. I thought that was pretty dope. I wish they would have showed us where she got the kyber crystal from, though, you know? But anyway, moving on. Really, really dig her character. I think Daisy Ridley is a phenomenal actress, and I am so happy she's getting another chance to put another chapter in this character, putting her in a new time where she's older, wiser. I'm sure her characterization will be a little bit different, so it's going to be interesting to see where things go from there. And let me check my notes here, because the director is going to be Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, who is going to be taking over the overall concept, or the film that I believe. What is his name? I'm forgetting the guy's name. He's one of the co-creators of Lost, and he did the last Watchmen series and The Leftovers. Oh my gosh, I gotta flash his name on the screen. I cannot remember for the life of me, but that guy had recently left the project. This is the project that apparently he was working on, was this post Rise of Skywalker, the new Jedi Order type of story that they're going with here, with Rey leading the charge. Fingers crossed they can get my boy John Boyega a great role and get him back on board as Finn. Maybe even bring back Oscar Isaac as Poe and fully redeem those two characters and give them more of a definitive arc and storyline to go into for the future here. But I am really, really excited about that and what can come in the future from this particular project. So that's the first one up right there. The second one, which is my most anticipated concept out of all of these, that I've always wanted to see them explore in some capacity, whether that was TV or a live action, even animation. I just wanted them to explore it somewhere, somehow. But we're getting it in live action, I believe, and that is going to be The Dawn of the Jedi Order, which will be written and directed by one of my favorite directors working today. Y'all know him for doing 2017's Logan, a.k.a. the second or best X-Men film, depending who you talk to most of the time. I'm talking about James Mangold, man. One of the best directors working today, in my opinion. The guy has not missed in years. He's getting ready to give us Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. So fingers crossed he can get that franchise on point and do the same thing with Star Wars in the film realm. Man, the dawn of the Jedi Order, the beginnings of the Jedi religion, the discovery of the Force and what it can do and the powers it bestows upon the people that can access it. To me, that is just that's such a fucking whole new universe you could explore 30, 20,000 years ago or whatever the fuck. You know, it's completely untested ground. It's completely new ground to break. Brand new ideas, and to completely freshen up the Star Wars world while not negating anything that came before. And James Mangold, I think, is one of the best creatives today to pick to do that. And this, just as a concept in and of itself, to me, is so awesome. This is something that was teased years ago with Benioff and Weiss, who did the Game of Thrones series. They were actually toying around with this idea about 4 or 5 years ago, so it's no surprise to me that this is kind of coming back around, and I feel like they probably pitched him the idea, and he said, oh shit, I love that idea. I already got cool ideas right here, this, that, and the third. I would make it a sword and sandal epic. Let's do it, man. Let's run it. And Kathleen Kennedy and them said, oh shit, all right. They're acting like it's a brand new idea that he pitched, but I think they're kind of, playing a little studio politics there. But I am excited to see what the hell James Mangold can cook up in the Star Wars universe when they completely let him go and actually trust his vision to let him go forward as one of the best directors working today. God damn, that makes me so excited. I just really hope they can stick to these plans and get it off the ground. But that's our second one up. Our last, and certainly not least by any stretch of the imagination, it appears that we are getting an Heir to the Empire crossover adaptation that we've all been speculating about and been teased about for the last few years. Dave Filoni is going to direct a live-action film that is going to be the culmination of the Mandoverse as we know it, between The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. Who knows what other shows are going to get introduced. Oh, Skeleton Crew as well, and what other things are going to be introduced in the middle of that. But that's going to be a huge fucking deal. The finale of all that stuff, the end game to the Favreau, Filoni, Mandoverse is going to be in live action form. I believe 2027 might have been a date that was leaked out there, so it's going to be several years for sure regardless, but if it is a 2027 targeted release date, we got at least 4 years to wait until we see that culmination. But to me, that's awesome, because we can get at least 2 to 3 seasons more of The Mandalorian, and we can get another season or two of both Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew And we don't need any more Book of Boba Fett, that's for sure. But if they wanted to redeem that and kind of go back to the drawing board and give us something a little stronger in that regard, they could totally go back and do that. So it leaves a lot of room for them to continue expanding this storyline. And they're definitely going to be doing that and getting even closer to giving us that full-on Admiral Thrawn and Ahsoka, which we will be getting into in the TV part of the Star Wars announcements and all that. So just be patient, y'all. We're going to get there. But man, oh man. Big shit going down right there. Heir to the Empire movie, essentially. Not officially called that. That's just what I'm calling it. We're going to get Heir to the Empire, y'all. 90s kids. Stand up and shout, baby. All my 90s kids, Star Wars fans. We're getting the goodness back from the Timothy Zahn days, baby. I hope they get Timothy Zahn to co-write the script and shit, man. Like, let's go. Let's fucking go, man. That one's, like, so freaking cool to me. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that. But let us segue over into the TV portion of all the Star Wars announcements, or Star Wars, celebration announcements, I should say. And starting off with not necessarily I think the next series coming up here, or no, sorry, not the next series coming up. I'm going to start with the less hyped one and keep the most hyped one for the end, which is going to be the John Watts directed and show ran series that's going to be also taking place in the same time line and time frame in The Mandalorian and everything like that, led by the great Jude Law, who is going to actually play a Jedi. It has been confirmed. He will be another Order 66 survivor. And we got the cast of kids that are going to be in that whole Stranger Things vibe they've been talking about, the whole Amblin vibe they're going to be bringing to this thing. They cast all these newcomer actors to play the kids and everything like that. So they're definitely getting close to rolling production here soon. I think Rick Famuyiwa is going to direct a couple episodes. I believe Bryce Dallas Howard might be directing some of it as well. I'm not sure if I'm mixing up that with the Ahsoka directors. I apologize. But either way, Skeleton Crew is supposedly going to be dropping in 2023. Supposedly? I don't know if I misread that. Let me make sure. Let's see. Hopefully I don't get a goddamn error on this damn recording software. I'm hoping. If you see a jump cut, you know why. Yep, another error. Anyway. So it's going to be dropping in 2023. That has been confirmed to be going down, and I'm just getting more and more excited about this series because, A, John Watts literally just made one of the dopest Spider-Man films ever made with No Way Home. B, I heard he's been killing it on TV as well with the old man, with Jeff Bridges and everything like that. So, heard the guy's just on fire. I dig his work. I think he's a really good director. And just the idea of something set in the Mandalorian kind of time period of the Star Wars universe, centering on a Jedi that is a survivor of Order 66, has been around for a minute. That does bring a lot of intrigue to me. We're kind of expanding something with something familiar, yet something new, and bringing in kids and doing something different in that regard in live action. I think can bring a lot of interesting dynamics into Star Wars we don't necessarily see all the time. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to have in store for us down the line. Another update they also gave us is Star Wars Visions is coming out, I believe, later this year. I think they just released a trailer today for that as well, I believe. I didn't do a reaction to it. I wasn't really that big of a fan of the first season, so I'm not sure if we're going to necessarily cover that this time around. I might get around to it as long as we got time, but it just kind of depends on how scheduling goes around here. So stay tuned, stay posted for that one. But that's another thing that's coming down the pipeline. Also, The Bad Batch is going to be getting a third and final season slated for next year as well. And yeah, so that should be pretty interesting. I still got to catch up on that one, but we'll see what happens between now and then. I might try to catch up so I'm, just caught up on all the Star Wars lore. We love Star Wars around these parts, especially your boy right here. So I'll probably catch up by that time. And so getting into 2024 a little bit more is The Acolyte, one of the next live-action Star Wars series we're going to get after Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew, respectively, is going to be The Acolyte, which is going to be taking place pre-Phantom Menace, High Republic days, post-Old Republic, of course, and they're expanding on a lot of this High Republic stuff in the novels and books right now, in the expanded universe, if you will. And they're actually going to be bringing some of the characters out of those novels into live-action form. I believe 2 different characters, I was reading on this article. So that's going to be pretty cool to see how they're actually expanding and getting into the canon for once, for real, outside of like Mandalorian a little bit, Book of Boba Fett a little bit. So it's cool to see how they're fully embracing that with Ahsoka and with this series, The Acolyte. They're really embracing that expanded universe stuff that really makes this new canon something special that they were pitching to us 11 years ago in 2012 when they bought this thing. So it's really cool to see how that's all finally coming back around full circle now. through that series. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. You got the great Daphne Keene cast in this thing. Amanda Steinberg from Euphoria and Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. So we got some good actors in here, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he was the main character in Squid Game. He's also going to be in the series. Really, really excited to see what he's going to be bringing to the table. But I am just really excited to see something, a project in Star Wars in a brand new time period, in a series format where they could really develop the characters in the world and really establish everything in a really well-written way and really flesh it out in the Star Wars universe. To me, makes me so excited. And focusing on characters from the dark side as some of the main characters as well is really intriguing to me and makes this series very appealing and really make it stand apart from the other projects and things in the Star Wars universe as we all seen up until this point today in 2023. So I really just can't wait to see that series next year. Cannot wait to see the trailer that they released to the wonderful folks that got to attend the event. Can't wait till it's released to the public, but alas, we have nothing else to get into there. But now it is time for my most anticipated thing in Star Wars for the rest of the year. One of my most anticipated projects in general. One of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters, and my favorite, potentially my favorite, Star Wars character post-2000. And that's saying something. I'm talking about Ahsoka Tano, baby, played by the great Rosario Dawson, getting a fully fledged season coming out this August. It has officially been confirmed. No exact date in August, but some Wednesday in August, we are going to be getting the first season of Ahsoka's premiere. Man, this fucking trailer was fucking incredible. I loved every second of it. The vibe, the Kevin Kiner score, the original composer from the Clone Wars and Rebels, who's always been the best at bringing that John Williams vibe, but keeping it different at the same time, but it doesn't feel foreign to Star Wars. It feels right at home, but doesn't feel like he's just completely biting the legend style. I'm so happy they're giving him a chance to score something in live action. Dave Filoni, I don't know how you got him to do it, but God bless you, man. And he's leading the charge in this thing. We got some other directors like Bryce Dallas Howard, Rick Famuyiwa, and a lot of newcomers coming in to direct the episodes on this one. I believe it's 8 episodes. Don't quote me on it for sure, but from what I read and from some of the rumor mill, it appears that this one's going to be 8 episodes, similar to The Mandalorian and whatnot. So I think that's going to hold true. Not sure exactly how long the episodes are going to be. I'm hoping more for that 45 minutes, an hour mark to really get into some juicy stuff and really flesh these characters and story out. We got the freaking confirmation of one of my favorite actresses working today. Not my favorite, but one of them. Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing the great Harrison Dula in live action, confirmed. We've seen her in action doing her pilot thing, being a leader, doing it all, man. Super duper screen accurate to her design in Rebels. So fucking awesome. We got to see a quick shot of Ezra Bridger in a hologram. That was really cool. And you got to see some shots of her, not necessarily in too much action, but you got to see Natasha Liu Bordizzo, the actress, bring to life the character of Sabine Wren for the first time in live action. That was freaking awesome. You got to see her exchange some dialogue with Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano. You got to see some awesome lightsaber action, double-wielded goodness from the great Ahsoka Tano herself. Man, and you get to see some apparent, like, Inquisitor types or something. These dark side, Force-sensitive folks that got orange lightsabers, bro. Shit's going to be going down. And there was one particular shot of Ray Stevenson's character, who's going to be one of these dark side users, seemingly looking like he's in the world between worlds with Ahsoka. So we could be getting into some trippy time travel type shit from Rebels. And for those of you that don't know, you need to go do some digging and check that out. I did actually go back and check out those episodes a little bit out of order in context of the rest of the series, but I had to go see what the hell was going on with some time travel stuff in the world of Star Wars. So if you want more information, go check out those episodes. I believe it was season 3 of Rebels. No, season 4. Season 4. And I just love how this is just effectively a live-action Season 5 of Rebels, while it's also expanding the lore of Ahsoka Tano, leading the charge. But also, let's not forget the main villain, the main threat that's bringing this all together, the main person that Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka was looking for. In Mandalorian Season 2, lightsaber to the throat, where's Admiral Thrawn? Well, he's right here in this goddamn trailer, and it was also confirmed at Star Wars Celebration, so this ain't a spoiler. But there was some leak footage that got out there. I will not be showing that to any of you because I don't like leaked footage either. But for those that don't care, and for those that are in the know, and for those that want to be in the know, Lars Mikkelsen, who did voice the character originally in Rebels, is going to be playing Thrawn in live action I love this heir to the Empire shit. She literally said it in the trailer. They're giving it to us, y'all. We're building up to the heir to the Empire. That is what we're doing in the Star Wars universe right now, at least in the TV realm, and it is so fucking awesome. I love it. This trailer was incredible. Please let me know what you thought about that down below. I'm trying to think, is there any other tidbits or small bits of information that I didn't share with y'all? Oh, one interesting thing I did see someone bring up online that was not confirmed or denied in the trailer, but I'm very curious about. Where is Jason Syndulla? And for those that don't know who that is the son of Kanan Jarrus and Hera Syndulla. They actually had a son before Kanan passed away. Spoilers for Rebels, y'all. Sorry. But they had a son together. He is force sensitive. He is out there in the world. I believe by the time this is taking place, it would have been about 7 to 10 years after Rebels. So it's going to be interesting to see if he does appear in the series. And if he does, I hope they keep those surprises close to the vest. I heard that there was an extended trailer at the actual con where they showed some footage of Sabine wielding a lightsaber, which appears to be Ezra's lightsaber. That's hella fucking interesting. Where's Ezra going to tie into all this? Are we going to see Ezra in action? There's so many questions to be answered with this series. I am so fucking hyped for it. It is literally one of my most anticipated shows of the year. Mando kind of took that top spot, but in retrospect, I almost want to flip him around because while Mando Season 3 has been pretty fucking cool, there has been some disappointing elements and moments to it overall. So fingers crossed that Ahsoka delivers and looks half as cool and is half as cool as this trailer made it seem to be, because if it is, this might be some of the best Star Wars content outside of Andor and Empire Strikes Back, y'all, and Mandalorian in the first 2 seasons included. So this could be some of the best Star Wars we've ever seen. Man, it is a good time to be a Star Wars fan. I really hope that they can get their shit together, get these plans off the ground, and get these things moving. Because the projects and things that they've announced, I think most Star Wars fans are going to be all in for. The Tales of the New Jedi, whatever it's going to be called, Rise in the New Jedi Order, whatever, with Rey leading the charge. That's going to be a little controversial and a little bit of a split with the Star Wars fandom. You know, just depends where you're coming from on that from the last sequel trilogy era. So it's all going to be a little bit of a wild storm there. But I think the rest of these projects, we're all in for as Star Wars fans, and I think we can all unite and agree on that for the most part. So I think those will be easier and smoother sailing, kind of getting the hype train going. That New Jedi Order is going to be a little bit of a tougher sell, but I believe in them. I really want to see these projects, and I'm not going to get too much more excited than I am right now for the other ones that are announced down the pipeline, as in the movies. Heir to the Empire, I feel like it's a shoo-in, and I feel like the James Mangold movie is pretty likely as well, because he doesn't attach himself to a lot of projects that don't come to fruition, and he has such heat on him right now as a filmmaker. I believe he's going to have enough pull to get it done, and hopefully Lucasfilm can get their head out of their ass enough to make sure to get these plans moving. I believe in him. I got faith, but I'm cautiously optimistic, not too optimistic, because they have let us down quite a few times before. They've literally had like a dozen or plus filmmakers drop out of things. So it's not unwarranted the way that some Star Wars fans are very skeptical right now, but I do want to maintain some level of positivity and hope and some small level of hype so we can be excited, because it is, at the end of the day, fiction that we're all passionate fans about. So let's try to have fun with it at the same time. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much it for today's episode of the Fandom Frequency Show. A little bit shorter than some of the ones in the past, but I just wanted to make sure to get all this juicy news and content out to y'all. Had to cover the Star Wars Celebration stuff. As I mentioned earlier, Super Mario Brothers review is going to be coming at y'all within the next week. We got the Scream ranking of all 6 movies, and we're going to be getting into The Mandalorian this week, and so much more. So make sure you're subscribed and clicking the likes and all that stuff, leaving your comments and thoughts down below. We appreciate it all. This is also going to be available on the audio podcast feed as well, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm going to be updating that today. Been falling behind on that. I apologize. But make sure you guys stay tuned. Don't sleep. Really appreciate each and every one of you for watching. And until next time, make sure you stay safe out there. We appreciate y'all. Much love. And peace out.